welcome to Family Meeting. We're so glad that you have joined us today. We are so excited about today's episode. We're excited to spend time with you, but we are also excited about this retreat that is coming up next week. In fact, a week from today, we will be heading to Pigeon Forge.
Yes.
To visit all of our friends with Barnhart Baptist Church. And we had such a good retreat last year.
Yeah.
We had such a good time with the people, getting to know them. And then what's so fun is we are able to connect on social media and kind of follow their family and just get to know them better. I love it.
The thing I'm looking forward to most, though, is I'm remembering the name off the top of my head, so I haven't looked it up, but Gorilla Taco. Because when we were there last year, I saw the place, I looked it up, and then found out it was opening literally the week after we were going to be there.
Okay, so I just want to understand, and we all want to understand.
Yeah.
What you are saying is more than seeing Mark Harvey or John, last name starts with a K, cannot say his name.
Yeah, I'd love to see you attempt that.
More than seeing Mark or John or any of the other guys or the couples from this church, you are more excited about eating at Gorilla Taco.
Well, I would think that they would all agree with me, tacos are life. And so I don't think any of them would be offended by that. I would not be offended.
Last year we ate at a Mexican restaurant, and I have a picture of Thomas with a sign that says, "Tell me I'm pretty and feed me tacos."
Yeah. So it's like, I don't think anyone's offended by that. We realize the value of good tacos and queso. So, I mean, they're a close second. It's close second, but I've been waiting an entire year to go and try this place out. And if you've been there, friends. Gorilla Taco, tell me what it's like. Tell me what to get. Is it worth the trip and the effort? I mean, it was like less than a block away from where we were
We could have walked. We would not have walked. It was February in Tennessee. And it was freezing cold.
It was real cold that day.
This year I'm bringing my parka, like my full-on parka coat.
See, I'm stepping out in faith. I am bringing shorts and T-shirts only. That's it.
Bad idea.
So, I believe
one of us will be comfortable.
It's going to be warm, I believe.
All right, but today we are talking about friendships with your children, and not you being a friend with your children, although we hope that you are, but we are talking about what happens when your child's friendships are not reciprocated and how to know like when to pull the plug on it and be like, okay, we're not going to pursue that friendship anymore, and helping them walk through the pain of rejection. So that's what we are talking about today. And so we need to get into this podcast.
We are ready.
Start us off, babe.
Hold on just a minute. I got to check and see if you put my line at the end.
I don't think I did. I just copied and pasted.
Oh, geez.
Wait, no, I can't.
No,
it's
can't.
PDF.
Here we go.
I copied and pasted. I'm sorry.
Here's what she's trying to do. She's trying to sabotage me by not putting my lines in.
I'm not trying to sabotage you.
Sabotage!
Sabotage!
What was the name of that cartoon?
Wasn't it?
Is it Valiant?
No, it's Cinderella.
No, I think it's
because
Valiant.
the guy goes sabotage.
No, I think it's Valiant.
I think that there's two cartoons, but I was thinking of Cinderella and the King. But anyway, go ahead.
No, I was thinking of the mouse. There's a mouse, and he's throwing dynamite or something.
Oh, yeah, and he's sabotaging.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think his name is Sabotage, but
that's
yeah.
funny.
You can tell we're family. We've seen a lot of cartoons.
A lot of cartoons.
These girls. Okay.
Gather
around, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The family meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Ostercamps. I'm Thomas. This is my wife. Sabotage.
I'm sabotaging your life.
You really are.
Sabotage!
Really, you are trying to sabotage me. All right, so let's see. Oh, yeah, my wife, Sabotage.
Hello, and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 281 of the Family Meeting Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to discuss when friendships aren't returned, helping your kids handle rejection and choose healthy friendships. So basically, the idea here is, what do you do when you see your child reaching out to friends, inviting friends over for play dates, being kind, friendly, maybe making little friendship bracelets, and this friendship that they are pursuing is not reciprocated, and there's no back and forth with it, and maybe even that other child or the family itself is kind of giving off vibes of like, trying to create space or distance.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? When do you tell your kid, like, okay, we got to let this go? How do you walk them through that pain of that rejection? Because it's a reality and it's something that they're going to deal with their whole lives.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as adults, this happens. And so how do you navigate this? And we're gonna be talking about that today. And later on, I'll share with you why this is the episode we're doing today.
Well, and I was thinking about this week, and I'm trying to figure out if nobody wants to be my friend or if this is just a situation. Because for 95% of my friendships, I would say I'm the one who reaches out first. I'll text first, I'll call, I'll interact first. And then there's a few that will reach out to me before I have a chance to reach out to them. So it's I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, is it me? I think it's me, but
yeah, I think it's you. Babe.
Anybody who's watched the podcast for more than 5 minutes is like, dude, it's totally you. But
everyone is commenting right now. It's you. It's you. It's you.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that, kind of chuckling a little bit. But you're right. It's going to be an issue your entire life.
Yeah.
So before we jump into this episode, we are a week away from Couples Retreat in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee with our friends at Barnhart. Looking forward to that time together. That is February 19th through the 21st. And there is an option to show up a day early, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
And you have their website pulled up, and let me say, they have done such a great job on this website. Like the whole registration, all the information, it looks really good. Whoever's doing their website, kudos, you guys are doing a great job.
So I did post the link on Family Meetings Facebook page this morning after I found it. And so for those of you who are watching, who are having us or somebody else come, it would be good for you just to look at it and get ideas for the information that should be posted. So I'll kind of just tell you what's the information here. So they've got the dates, February 19th through 21st. They have the place they're staying, including a photo of the place we're staying, how to fill out your registration. They have the cost, a place to click to register. They've got a spot where the speakers, they show our family photo that we sent them, tells a little bit about us, has a link to the podcast so people who don't know us can get a little idea of who we are. I don't know if that will help attendance or if people will be like, I'm not going, but it's there. They have the schedule, and then they have the topic. And we're going to be talking about marriage under pressure, that pressure doesn't have to ruin your relationship. It can refine it. So great information as far as getting that out there. Maybe one of the best ones I've seen in a while. With all the information. So well done, whoever is behind the website at Barnhart. You did excellent. We're looking forward to being with you and trying some amazing gorilla tacos while we're in town. We talked about that on YouTube. If you want to hear that conversation, you can jump on YouTube and check it out there.
Yes. Now, few things hurt parents more than watching their child feel left out or rejected by friends. This is true. We have some really cool children. Our daughters are now 20, 19, well, almost 19.
Okay.
Almost
Mom
18.
of the year. Tell us how old your kids are.
Isabella's birthday is on Monday. I'm like, wait, when is this episode airing? Will she already be 19? Okay, give me a break. So yeah, like 20, 19, almost 18, and 15. So our kids are growing up. Like, they're adults, right? And they're awesome. They've always been really friendly, and they're nice girls. Like,
I mean, most of the time.
Most of the time, they don't purposefully try to hurt people, right?
Yeah.
But we have absolutely watched this happen, where even when they were children, we've watched it happen as young adults also, where they've pursued friendships that just weren't reciprocated. And like, at some point, they're coming to me like, do I keep trying or should I let this go? And, there does come a point when my advice to them is probably let it go and see. It doesn't mean that you're not friendly to that person, but it just means you're no longer pursuing. You're no longer the one texting and being like, hey, you want to get together this week or whatever. But this has happened when they were kids too, and it hurts.
Well, it is tricky to make that decision. Like, how much effort do I put into this if no effort's being put back? So, like we talked about in the opening, like, it's going to be something that you deal with the rest of your life, trying to make those calls and those decisions. And I know some people lean towards if they never text first, then I'm never texting them. And
yeah, you don't want to be that person.
You're doing exactly what they're doing. We all go through seasons of busyness, of hardship, of heartache, and so we never know what's going on in somebody's life. And I'm thankful that Jesus wasn't the type of person who was like, well, if you don't respond first, I'm not. He always goes first. He leaves the 99, gets the one. So it's like he sets a good example for us, but at the same time, there are boundaries and there are lines where it's like, okay, I've invested everything I can to make this relationship or this friendship work, and I need to put my attention and my energy somewhere else, maybe.
Right, with somebody who's actually interested or has the time for you or whatever. And the reason that we are doing this podcast episode today is because I had a conversation with a mom who has children much younger than mine. And she said this is happening in her kids' lives, and she's seen it in her own as well. But she was specifically talking about her children, how they have some friends who they are the ones who always invite them over to play. They're the ones who are calling or texting or on games, and she says she monitors all of her children's conversations digitally. So she's looking at these messages, and it's like her children are the ones who are being all friendly and being kind, and it's not being reciprocated. They're getting that one word answer, like the K or the or whatever. And she's like, it's so painful to watch my kids go through that. And I'm also trying to figure out at what point do I tell them, why don't you try this friend over here, and whatnot. And so I thought, I know that happened in my life with my kids. I know it's happened to me personally. So maybe this is something that other parents are dealing with too. And we need to talk about this.
Yeah, and it's tough. And the thing that I think about, I think about those kids who aren't reaching out and being kind, and most likely they haven't been taught what it means to be a good friend and what a good friend should do. And when these things happen, as much as it sucks, it is a great teaching opportunity for our own kids to teach them what does a good friend look like? What do you want people to do for you? Then you need to turn around and be that same kind of friend towards them. So it is a great opportunity to learn, and I think about those kids, and many of them probably just have not had those meaningful conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So today we're going to talk about how to help your kids navigate that one-sided friendship, know when to step away, how to handle the disappointment and the pain of rejection without becoming bitter or withdrawn, because you can take these situations and be like, well, fine, I'm not going to ever reach out. I'm not going to try. And that is not a good direction to go either. And this is something that I want to try to help teach my children. I want to help myself to accept this.
Okay.
And all of our listeners. Not every friendship is meant to last.
Yeah.
Not every friendship is meant to last. And so we've got to learn when to let a relationship fade. And that's really an important life skill. Something we want to learn ourselves and teach our children.
Well, you're so right, because friendship isn't marriage.
Yeah.
Marriage is a lifetime. Through the thick, through the thin, you figure it out. You work on it. You keep learning. You keep growing. You keep loving and sacrificing. Friendships aren't necessarily that. And so it just reminds me of The Gambler.
I have no idea what you're talking about or who the gambler is.
You got to know when to hold 'em. Know when to fold 'em. Know when to walk away. Know when to run.
Yeah. Sometimes you do need to run from a friendship.
Yeah, because,
it's not healthy.
Yeah, there are bad friendships, bad influences. But I
just want to thank you for singing to us on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm not going to count my money while I'm sitting at this table. But we'll continue. It did remind me of that, because it's like, how do you decide in those circumstances?
You know who I thought the gambler might be?
Kenny Rogers.
No,
that's him.
I know that, but I'm saying when you said the gambler, I was expecting it to be some superhero, like the guy who throws cards.
Oh my gosh.
That's
throws Gambit.
Cards? See, that's who I thought it was, because I'm like the gambler, cards.
Yeah,
superhero.
That's Channing Tatum.
I just
Gambit.
assumed that you were using like superheroes. So anyway.
No, it's like you have the gambler when you're talking about friendship, and you got Ring of Fire when you're talking about marriage.
Because marriage is hell.
I didn't say that.
I'm asking if that's what you said. I didn't say it either.
You just did.
I was asking. It was a question mark at the end.
Wow.
Listen, we love marriage. All right, let's go on. So there are times, though, that, you should pursue a friendship because they're not just blowing you off.
Yeah. Well, sometimes a family is just in a busy season.
Right.
There's not a person listening to this that doesn't understand that. Your family sometimes is busier than others, or your family's always busy and you just have busier times. And it's not that the kids are bad friends or purposefully not reciprocating. There are times to give grace for a season and to continue to pursue a friendship. But how do you recognize when your child's friendship isn't being reciprocated? And there are always things about people that I find so fascinating because part of being in a friendship is learning how to communicate well and what formats to communicate. And, our girls have friends that only communicate certain ways, and it's like,
oh yeah,
where they won't answer texts, but if you like message them on certain social media
Instagram
platforms, then they'll answer right away, and it's like, what is going on here?
What's the difference? Like, a notification is a notification. I pull it up, but everybody's different.
It is important to look for patterns, not for one-off moments, and I think sometimes we can get our feelings hurt in a one-off moment and kind of blow it out of proportion without understanding what's really going on in that other person's life.
Yeah. So this is where a lot of wisdom comes in. And we know that scripture tells us if we lack wisdom, all we have to do is go to God, ask for wisdom, and he will give us wisdom, and he won't withhold. He will pour out wisdom upon us. So if you're in this situation and you're trying to figure out, all right, is this family just really busy right now? Or is this family or this child trying to kind of blow off my kid? To know the difference and to know if you should continue to pursue, go to God for wisdom. That's the first thing we want to encourage you to do.
So let's look. Let's kind of highlight some of the patterns to watch out for. This is not a one-off moment. This has become a pattern.
Yeah. Okay, so one of them would be your child is doing most of the reaching out. They're always the one asking to play. They're the ones texting. They're the ones trying to sit by the friend. And invitations are rarely or never reciprocated. Almost never does that other friend reach out to your child and say, okay, can you come to my house to play? Or can you, or start the text thread, hey, how are you doing today? Or sending the meme or whatever it may be, where it's your child is doing the most of the reaching out. And this is the pattern. This is not like, oh, they went into a busy season or they had a death in the family and things have changed. No, this is like all the time.
Yeah. Another one to think about and to look for is the other child's interest seems conditional. So they're engaging only when it benefits them in some way, shape, or form, whether that's help with homework, certain toys, video games. It reminds me of 8-Bit Christmas, where the one cool kid, he had the Nintendo, and everybody else wanted to be friends with him so they could
But they
play
all
Nintendo.
hated him.
Yeah.
They hated this kid. He was mean, but they wanted to be his friend to play with the toys he had.
Yeah, and he was a friend, he was using his Nintendo in order to gain, friendships around him.
Right, exactly.
So, but you think about that. And so they will drift away when better options appear.
Oh, that's painful to even hear you say it. It's
Yeah.
just painful. And I think that can even happen in adulthood.
Oh, yeah.
Where like you see a friendship where you're like, oh, we were friends, but then this other person came into their life who had more to offer. They've got the boat or like, they've got this wonderful house with a pool and they're always going over there now instead of hanging out with us because we don't have that.
Yeah.
That's painful.
And we kind of see this sometimes in church leadership. For those of you who are catching the podcast for the first time, Lysandra and I lead Beachside Community Church here in Palm Coast, Florida. We've been leading churches for a long time, and it's always interesting to me when you have people come into the church and they literally only want to be friends with Lysandra and I. And there's people around them that we know that have the same interests. It's like, I'm not interested in cars. I'm not the person you want to be friends with. Like,
no,
we've got a number of guys who, hey, they're into the same exact thing as you. But I always find that to be a fascinating dynamic. And I'm always a little hesitant about that because of situations like this.
Yeah. All right, here's another pattern that you can watch out for is that your child often feels confused or anxious about the relationship. So they might say things like this. They said they'd play with me, but they didn't, and they're kind of always getting hurt.
Yeah.
Or like we had one friend that whenever she would come over, she would try to divide the girls and pit our daughters against each other. And then when we would have big parties and lots of friends over, she was working real hard to make sure that our daughters were playing with her and not the other friends. And I mean, we could see it playing out, and it was just fascinating to watch. But this kind of this child who's adding all this like anxiety into the friendship, that is really a red flag. Maybe it's your child waits around hoping that friend will notice them, and they are putting a big emotional investment into the friendship with very little return from the friend. So this is a pattern. This isn't one-off. This isn't like unusual or the exception to the rule. This is the rule. This is what is normal in the friendship. So that's kind of a red flag saying it might be time to move on.
Yeah. Well, it also makes me think of, if your child is treated as a backup.
Right.
Like they're included, but only when others aren't available. It's like, hey, we'll be friends, but it's like on the DL. Like, I don't want anybody to know we're friends with each other.
Or like I invited all these people to my birthday party. 5 of them couldn't come, so now I've invited you.
Yeah.
And you get that last minute invitation all the time. And it's like, why did I get the last minute invitation? Oh, because your plans A and B fell through. I'm plan C. Like, that's not cool.
Or dropped easily without explanation.
Yeah. So those are, if that's kind of the pattern.
You're expendable.
Yeah. How about this? You notice changes in your child's mood or self-esteem due to this friendship. And that is what will happen is when your child is constantly reaching out and pursuing a friendship with and being met repeatedly with rejection, it's going to affect their self-esteem. That's just what happens. And they take that rejection personally. I don't know how you don't take rejection personally.
It's difficult.
And it is personal.
Yeah.
Like it is personal. So they start trying to earn a friendship by maybe over giving or people pleasing. So now your child's always giving the friendship bracelet. Every time your child sees that child, they're bringing a little gift. Like, oh, this is my favorite. What were those called? Something Pal. What were the littlest pet shops?
There was little pet
and then
shops,
there was another little toy that was like a little something Pal. But like they're always giving like a little gift or something, trying to kind of buy the friendship. And remember, none of these things we've just listed prove anything individually or if it happens once, But if it's all happening together or if it's all becoming a pattern, then it tells the story and it really shows what's happening in the friendship. This may be one to say, okay, we got to cut ties.
So I'm listening to you talk about this, and this would be something like you would have a hard time with.
Okay.
Overgiving because of people pleasing and all that.
Oh, you see me do this?
Yeah.
Really?
You don't think you've done this for people?
Yeah, but do you think in friendships?
Yeah. In everything. Every area of your life. Do you disagree?
I don't know. I just haven't really thought about it, I guess. Because I don't necessarily feel like I'm the one pursuing friendships all the time. I feel like I do have friends who I have a lot of friends, so I don't.
Everyone you meet is your friend, according to you.
Yes, everyone I meet is my friend. That is no question there. I don't know. I'm trying to think now.
Okay.
I feel like I have so many people who have done so many beautiful, kind things for me and given me so many things that I don't feel like I'm.
Yeah, I'm not saying they haven't, but yeah.
I'm just not sure. I'm doing one of those quick video montages in my mind, friendships.
But you tend to lean towards doing whatever it takes to make sure someone is your friend.
Yeah, to make sure that someone feels happy. For me, I do not think I'm trying to make them my friend. I'm trying to make sure that they are happy and they have good feelings about me.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to make sure that they're not upset.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I do not feel like I'm trying to make them be my friend.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure that they are happy. So it's the people pleasing 110%. But I don't think that the end goal is for them to be my friend. It's more of them to like me, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's the same thing, though.
So, you listen to some of these patterns and maybe you recognize some other things that we didn't mention. and you understand, okay, my child is pursuing a one-sided friendship, and it's probably time to let that relationship go. This is a totally different, because recognizing it is one thing, that having the conversation with your child about it without hurting them even more is another thing all by itself, because your child's already hurting because of this. Now, how do we have a conversation without doing more damage?
Well, because your child knows it's happening. They probably don't know how to verbalize it. They feel it happening, but they wouldn't know how to tell you that it's happening. They wouldn't know how to express it. But they just know, like, they don't like me as much as I like them.
Yeah. So I think one of the best ways you can start this conversation is just with curiosity.
Okay.
Not conclusion. So instead of saying something like, they're really not your friend, because it's obviously somebody your child wants to have a friendship with for whatever reason. If you come at it and you're just like, hey, they're not your friend. Now, there may be certain issues where extremely rare situations where that's exactly what they need to hear. Like it's a person that's really not good for them or whatever. But try something like this instead. Like, how do you feel after you spend time with them?
Good question. So
you're getting them to associate certain feelings in the moment with how somebody is treating them. And they're learning how to pay attention to that and listen to that. We talk to this about our girls all the time. Like, hey, pay attention to that intuition, like the way that people make you feel one way or another, whether it's most of the time it has to do with being in an uncomfortable situation.
Or creepy vibes.
Yeah. Where it's like, never ignore the creepy vibes, especially when you're a girl. Like, always listen to that. But I think it's good to pay attention to how people make you feel just when you interact with them. Do you feel like they're excited to see you too? So you're helping them to evaluate, what does this other person actually think about them? And it just, they're noticing their own experiences rather than you telling them how to feel.
Right.
And those are two very different things that will help lead to two very different outcomes.
And I feel like when you ask these questions, like, how do you feel after you spend time with them? It kind of sounds like you're asking that question to a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
But the truth is, this applies to like an 18, 19, 20-year-old. Because you're trying to help even your older child, like, see this is how they are making you feel, but you're not even realizing it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to say that, but when you ask the question, you're helping them to get there.
Well, I think sometimes when we want something, whether it's a friendship or anything, like when you want a relationship to work, you often ignore the things that are right in front of you, the warning signs, the bad behavior, the bad feelings. So when you ask them certain questions like this, you're helping bring that into the forefront so they can actually see it.
Right. Yes. That's good. Another thing that you can do is help your child and in your family normalize that not all friendships are equal. This released me when I was, in my 30s. I was in my 30s when I finally figured this out, that not all friendships are equal. So as Thomas said...
that last week?
Yeah, I wish it was last week. I'm 41, y'all. But Thomas mentioned that everyone I meet is my friend.
Yeah.
And that is true. Everyone.
You believe that.
I believe that you are my friend. I am your friend. We are friends.
She doesn't know you. You've listened to the podcast for 5 minutes. Lysandra is your friend.
Absolutely. And you can reach out to me anytime. But what I found is that there were a lot of really bad friends. I was like, man, people are really self-absorbed and like we're talking and they never ask me how I am, but we're talking about them the whole time or whatever. And it was so funny. Finally, I realized like, okay, everybody can be my friend, but they can be at different levels. And the friends who are true friends, dear friends, deep friends that I let get very close to my heart are the ones who ask about me, who care about me, who care about my children and whatnot.
Or it's reciprocal. Yeah.
It's reciprocal, right? But I'm still friends with everyone. And even if you want to get together and we just talk about you and we have a good time together, and I'm just there to listen and to help you. I'm all for that, and you are still my friend. But it's a different level, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think with kids, adults do that too. Like I was in my 30s when I figured that out, but kids often think that friendship is all or nothing. Like we're either best friends or we're not friends. But that's not really true. There's different levels of friends, and that's okay. It's not wrong to have different levels of friends. It's okay to have different levels of friends, and understanding that is just simply reality. And so one thing that you can say to your child is some people are sometimes friends and some people are close friends. And that can change over time.
Yeah.
And it does. And you take a moment right now, you listeners, take a moment. Look back over your lifetime of friends. You have had in different seasons of your life very close friends who are no longer close. You're still probably talking terms.
Yeah.
You still have good feelings towards one another, but you're not close anymore because now you have this close friend over here. And it's going to change. And then sometimes we have sometimes friends. Mm-hmm. So like, they're going to be friends when they need something or when you're available or whatever, and that's okay.
Well, I think not even just that. Like, you'll have certain friends, and I can think of one in particular, that you guys will message a little bit back and forth, and then every couple of years you'll get together, and it's like you never were separated.
Yes, I have a lot of friends like that, yeah.
And so a good friend like that who understands, we're both in different places, and we're very busy. And when we make time for each other, it's a really great friendship.
Yes. And that to me can still be a very close friend, a deep friend.
Yeah.
So like I have a lot of close and what I would consider like deep friendships that I very rarely talk to. But if I am desperate for prayer, those certain ones are who I would reach out to.
Yeah.
Because I know like when I'm in need, they will be the ones who are there for me, even though we have a huge distance and we don't talk very often. So those could still be even close friends, but they're sometimes friends. So It's just helping them see that, helping your child to see that there are levels of friendships and categories of friendships. And you may even want to say like, my friend, Miss So-and-so, she's a great friend, but she's in this category. And this one over here, she's in this category, helping them to see like even you as a parent have different categories of friends. And it's okay. Normalize that not all friendships are equal.
Well, and very few relationships are all the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they are all different. And so you do want to help them not to categorize certain people as a bad friend just because they're not necessarily what you want them to be. Mm-hmm. Unless somebody's literally trying to get you to do something that's wrong or that's harmful to you or somebody else.
Right.
That is a bad friend. But... so you're kind of walking through your child with this conversation, and now because of this and the questions that you've asked and the things that you've helped them to realize for themselves, then you can gently name what you're seeing. So you're going to use observations, not accusations. And a lot of times you're able to just kind of piggyback off of what they've told you. Mm-hmm. So sometimes they see it and are seeing it very clearly and can identify the emotions depending on how emotionally aware and intelligent they are. But you might be able to say, hey, I've noticed the same thing. Like you're usually the one inviting them over and they don't always follow through. That can feel disappointing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's exactly what they've been seeing. Sometimes it isn't. And it's like, okay, can I give you my perspective on this? Mm-hmm. And so then you're sharing kind of the things that you're showing. So
well, and agreeing with them affirms their feelings, right? So they may be in their head over there going, it seems like they don't like me, but maybe they do. It seems like I'm the only one inviting them, but maybe it's just because they're busy. So when you say, yeah, I agree, you are the one who's always reaching out, I think it's maybe a little unbalanced. You're affirming what they're already feeling, but they're not certain that they're right.
Yeah.
So then you affirm it. It's like, okay, I was right. That is what's happening here.
But there are going to be times where you see it way different than they do.
Yes.
And so you're gently, giving the observations. And what that does is it gives them language to something your child may already feel but can't articulate. Mm-hmm. So they may not know exactly. And then when you're talking about it, they're like, yeah, that's it.
Yes,
that's
right.
it. And we've all had situations like that where somebody's talking and it's like, yes, that's exactly how I feel. Or that's exactly what happened. Couldn't figure out how to say it and verbalize it.
Right. The other thing that you want to do is, because your child is feeling rejected through this, so you want to emphasize their worth. We're not going to focus on the rejection and emphasize that, but we're going to emphasize your worth and who you are. And this is so important. So it's not about like that your child has a flaw or whatever. And I mean, we all have flaws, right? But maybe what you can do here is emphasize what is wonderful about them. You are so kind. You have been there every time they needed you. You're cheerful and fun to be around. You are so funny and have that great sense of humor. You have so much worth. And of course, we want them to find their worth ultimately in God, in Jesus. And so bringing that back around, God made you and you were not made with mistakes, or you were made on purpose and you are valuable and God loves you and I love you. And you have so many people in your life who love you and like you. Sometimes I tell my kids a lot of times, I love you and I like you. I like who you are. I like being around you.
As your parent, I have to love you.
Yes.
Doesn't mean I have to like you.
Yeah. But I do like you, and telling them that. And maybe one thing that you could say is something like this. Sometimes people don't know how to be the kind of friend we need, even though we are great friends. And you can tell them, you have been a great friend, but they might just not know how to be a good friend to you. So it's not about your child being messed up, unlovable, unlikable. It's that friend might not know how to be the friend that they should be.
Yeah. Well, and the same is true for our kids as well. Like, they don't always know how to be the type of friend that their friends need. They're learning and growing, they're maturing. So, but I think one of the things at this point that we need to do in this conversation is to shift the focus from them to making a choice, like giving them the ability to choose. You want to help your child feel empowered, not passive, not like, oh, this is just something that is happening to me. Mm-hmm. That sort of victim mentality where it's like, okay, yes, this has happened, but I have a choice to make here. Mm-hmm. And I can take control of the situation. So you once again, you're asking them questions. We believe in asking kids a lot of questions and teaching them how to learn and think through things. So asking them things like, how do you want friends to make you feel? Who makes you feel relaxed and happy? So thinking about evaluating the people in their life. And so based upon the feedback that they're giving you, you're then able to help and guide them in the direction with things like, it's okay to spend more time with people who give that back to you.
Mm-hmm. Another question, several questions that I like to ask my girls now that they're older is, who draws you into a closer relationship with Jesus?
Yeah.
So this might not be a question for a 7-year-old, but a 15, 20-year-old, anywhere in that range, you can ask that question, like, who encourages you and uplifts you in the Lord? Who has good advice? Things like that. Like, who's leading you in the right direction?
Yeah.
And, okay, that's who you need to pursue. And I've had this conversation with one of my daughters where I asked questions like that. And in the end, she realized that one particular friendship she was pursuing, she was the one who was constantly trying to like draw that person to Jesus. And I'm talking about a person who is a follower, a self-proclaimed follower of Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like somebody who says, I am a Christian, I follow Jesus. Catherine was always having to try to pull her towards Jesus, whereas she had this other friend who was much more reciprocal, and she was more so, in line with that. And so I'm like, well, maybe it's time to not unfriend, right? We don't unfriend people and stop talking to them or being friendly, but maybe it's time to stop pursuing that other girl.
Yeah.
Let her kind of do what she's going to do right now. You be kind if she reaches out, but we're not going to pursue that. Why don't you pursue this person who is really inspiring you to follow Jesus closer?
Yeah. And in just a second, Lysandra's going to share some things not to do, because I know some of you are listening and you're like, but what about, shouldn't we, like, we'll get to that in just a second. But with this conversation, we're teaching our children boundaries. And so maybe even without using the word boundaries, we're teaching them that that it's okay to make decisions on personal relationships and to set up boundaries and safeguards and all of that, so that we're not constantly opening ourselves up to be hurt, to be used, to be taken advantage of.
And maybe some of you parents need to hear that right now.
Yeah.
I know I have in the past.
Which we do have an episode, at least one on boundaries.
Yeah. Okay, so there is this desire, and I know that this is a fleshly desire, meaning like our human nature at the core of who we are. We want to do things. We want to get back at people.
Yeah.
You know, we want to shed light on the bad things about people sometimes to make us feel better, to make our kid look better, or whatever. So when you watch your kid be mistreated and someone not be friendly to them, when you watch them be hurt, man, like that mama bear comes out and you want to lamb blast these other kids, right? You just want to be like, that kid's such a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to say that. But one thing we want to encourage you to do, even though it's tempting, is don't label the other child as mean or fake or as a bad friend or ugly or whatever it might be. And you don't even really need to even push your child to stop liking them. But what instead, like the things we already talked about, it's more about like, okay, well, maybe we don't pursue that friendship, or they might not know how to be a friend like, you need, or whatever, right? But you're being careful not to just call that kid names, basically.
Right, exactly. You're helping them to put that friendship in the right category, where it's like, okay, this person's going to be an acquaintance, and when you're around them, you joke around, you're nice to them. It's like this happens all the time on social media, where you'll see somebody who's like, if you believe or think X, Y, or Z about this person, that person, this situation, then just unfriend me. And it's like, it's crazy to me. Like,
you can disagree and be friends.
Yeah.
Or acquaintances.
Like we don't have to be close buddies, but there's almost nothing somebody can say where I'm like, I don't want to be a friend with you at all.
Yeah. Right. And then this is something that I kind of probably have been guilty of, is trying to force another friendship to fix the hurt.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, they're not nice. Let's have so-and-so over. So let your kid have a little bit of time to grieve that loss of the friendship. It's okay for them to be sad for a little bit, maybe to want to hunker down in their room for a little bit or whatever.
Yeah, people aren't goldfish, where it's like, your goldfish died. Let's go goldfish shopping.
Find one that looks exactly like them.
Like, I know you've killed 5 hamsters already. Let's go buy another hamster.
We totally did that, by the way.
Like, these hamsters are literally jumping out of their cage and climbing down the air vent to get away from you. Let's go buy another one.
They're committing suicide.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
People are not hamsters.
We had such bad luck with hamsters. We've had better luck with people, I want to say.
Well, we've had better luck with dogs also.
But sometimes, just let your kid grieve the friendship loss, but don't let them stay there, right? If your child is now on week 3 of staying in their room over a friendship loss, then that's probably too long. They might need some help.
Yeah. So let's just talk a little bit about how to guide your child to let this friendship fizzle. And the goal is without drama, without conflict. There doesn't need to be this conversation where it's like, okay, I'm not going to invite you over to the house anymore.
Right.
So, couple ways to do this. First of all is just by reducing availability. And you're going to do this without lying, right? And I can think of specifically one person that just was not a good friend, not a good influence, always causing issues and drama. And so we just told our girls, your availability is very limited with this person. And, of course, you're going to do that without lying.
So you don't make up like, oh, I'm busy, and you aren't actually busy, right? So you're not going to lie.
Yeah. But the point is you're teaching spacing, not ghosting. Like I'm creating distance, but I'm not going to ghost you. I'm not going to ignore you. I'm not going to answer you or talk to you anymore. Like those are not the things we're doing. And so the examples can be something simple like I'm playing with somebody else today, or I have a different activity. I'm going to do my own thing right now. Maybe another time. Which our kids have learned maybe means no, but
yeah. Well, and sometimes I've told my kids, like, tell them that your mom said no.
yeah.
Like, it's as simple as that. Mom said I can't.
So it's not even about them. But
yeah.
The idea here is that there's less initiating going on, where you're not just cold ignoring somebody. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to reach out to them, and if they want to reach out to me, that's fine.
Right.
But I'm not going to just go and pursue this person anymore.
Yeah.
My availability has become less. And
you're going to guide your child to stop over-investing. All right? Now, this is what Thomas was basically saying he had to help me with. Help your child notice that there's an effort imbalance. Okay? And then, so they're going to bring their effort down to maybe match the other person's effort. And if it's matched, it might fizzle on its own because, you know, that child is not putting forth any effort. So you might even want to say, you don't have to invite them every time. You don't have to wait for them. It's okay. And you can encourage shorter interactions or maybe group settings more than one-on-one. We've done this several times where there have been children or teenagers that we felt like were not a good influence on our kids. So we would only invite them over when lots of kids were going to be there so that there was more group setting and there was not as much one-on-one interaction. So there's less influence. And fewer favors, fewer gifts, not as much emotional labor, like bring all of this back down. And it naturally is going to change the rhythm of the relationship. It's naturally going to help the friendship fizzle.
Well, and I think part of the process in helping them notice the effort imbalance could be simply something along like just, hey, let's go back over your text messages with this person, okay? So let's just maybe say that the last week, how many times have you initiated conversation versus how many have they initiated? And so you're kind of helping them to actually see what's going on here and identify that.
Let's do that right now with our texts, baby. Let's look at our text threads and see who's initiating more and who has like 3 paragraphs to 1 okay.
That's not initiating though. Initiating is you message first.
The reciprocation, babe.
So yesterday I sent you 2 photos.
I was with you.
I initiated last. Okay, let me read all this.
Okay, you're blue and I'm black in this.
It is dangerous to read this on the air, but I'm going to do it.
No, don't. Okay, listen. No, don't. You can't read any of that.
I know.
That's not going to work at all.
I was like, this is a dumb idea because the way we interact with each other cannot be on the podcast.
No, but what I'm saying is it's so funny when you talk about that because I talk a lot and Thomas talks very few words. So whenever we message, it's I message like I talk, right? Like I tell a big paragraph with all the details, and Thomas always responds with okay or fine or yep or thumbs up.
But I'm not talking about communication styles. I'm talking about text first.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's like go over the last week.
Initiation.
Who's initiating? Who's texting first? And if it's like you're initiating almost all the time versus, they might once a week or twice a week, then you're able to help them to see that the balance isn't quite there.
Okay, acceptable.
Because communication styles are different, especially between men and women.
So
most men and most women anyway.
We laugh about that though, like how much I text, how many words I text compared to how many words you text.
And then one thing you want to make sure that your children are doing, and of course you need to model this as well, is keeping your responses neutral and kind. Mm-hmm. So it's not an excuse to be mean or to lash out. Lysandra's already talked about that a little bit. But if the friend reaches out, your child can still be polite.
Yes.
So you're going to teach them just some simple, calm replies. Hey, that sounds fun. I can't today. They don't need long explanations. You don't have to, give them an explanation for why you can or why, why it's not going to work out.
For some reason, I think in our culture, we have this idea, like, if you want to say no to someone, you have to have a good excuse.
Yeah.
It's not really true.
Like, people don't have the right to know exactly why, especially if they're not in that close of a relationship. Like, and so if you kind of want to just make it non-dramatic as possible. So, and in certain situations, I'm just literally tell the girls, like, if they want to know why, just tell them I said no. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm okay being the bad guy. And so even sometimes with Lysandra, I'm like, hey, tell him you can't. Like,
my husband said no.
Exactly. And I'm like, I've always used Lysandra. I'm like, yeah, she said no. Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
right. You do not.
Sorry, guys.
You have no desire to use any excuses. You just say no.
I'm like, let me ask my wife. They're like, okay, we know what that means. You don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, then this can sometimes happen, you guys. You try all these like sweet, gentle, like letting the relationship fizzle. And then eventually the other child might even ask directly, why don't you hang out with me anymore?
Yeah.
Why does it seem like you are not reaching out anymore? Whatever. So here's where you have to coach your children through an honest, kind, but maybe low detail response, okay? And of course, you have to adjust this with their age, depending on how old the other child is, your child is, and so on. But it could be something as simple as, I've just been spending time with some other friends lately. Or, I still like you, I just don't want to hang out quite as much as we used to. And this is really direct, and it is going to hurt the other child's feelings. Like, this will hurt. But you can't lie. Like, lying is not on the table. So being honest but being gentle is kind of your only option there.
Well, and if they're older kids, like we have older teenagers into the 20s now, and these conversations happen, it does open the door for some very honest conversations about, making sure that relationships are reciprocal. And this may be a person who's literally like, they genuinely want to be their friend. They just maybe haven't known how to be a good friend. Mm-hmm. So the attitude behind it makes all the difference in the world. Mm-hmm. But you can still be open and direct and be kind at the same time.
Right. Yep. So that may be what you need to do, is just be direct and be honest. And even though it's going to hurt them, say like, yeah, I just, I don't want to spend as much time together as we used to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then part of the process as a parent is to help your child go through the rejection of the friend. So how do we process rejection and disappointment in friendships? Because we are all going to suffer rejection in our lives. And sometimes it's a friendship, sometimes it's a love relationship, sometimes it's a job. Like, you really want a job and you try out and all the stuff for a job or for a program or whatever else, and you don't get it. You don't make it, and you suffer that rejection. So these are great lessons to learn, and the earlier on we can help our kids learn how to process rejection and disappointment, the better we'll equip them for what's going to happen later on in life. Mm-hmm. So the first thing you have to do is just name the pain. And teach them to start naming the pain. This is before fixing anything. Kids can't process what they can't name. And really, adults can't either. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't name it either. So it's okay to say things like, that really hurts. It makes sense you feel sad, angry, confused, whatever that emotion is that they're showing. Mm-hmm. Rejection from friends can feel awful. Like, it's okay to name it for what it is and let them name it for what it is and kind of feel those emotions from it. Mm-hmm. I know as a parent, a lot of times we want to shield our kids from feeling negative emotions, but feeling and learning how to process those negative emotions is an important part of them learning and growing and becoming emotionally aware and intelligent and mature. Mm-hmm. But you've got to name it. You got to help them be able to name it as well.
Yeah. And I would avoid saying things like they aren't even worth it, or you have other friends, or whatever. Like,
you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Yeah.
Like, don't downplay what they're feeling
right.
either.
Because if you were in that situation, or should I say when you were in that situation, you felt like the world was ending as well. Like, it's okay for them to feel sad. This is something that is, if they didn't feel sad, then there might be something wrong, right? Like, they should feel sad. They have a heart, right? Help them, though, to separate feelings from identity.
Well, just touching back on that real quick.
Okay.
We all have things that happen to us that are like super life-changing things to us and are a big deal to us that someone else would look at and say, why are you so upset about that?
Yes.
Like literally all of us.
Everyone.
And so we have to be mindful of that our kids, you got a 5 or 7-year-old that they're the only one not invited to the birthday party. Like, to you, maybe it's just a birthday party. No big deal. To them, it's literally the end of their world. Mm-hmm. And so just being mindful of that, because there are different people, and I have a friend, and he doesn't feel much of anything. So, like, being reminded that even if I don't feel a certain way about something doesn't mean it's not a big deal to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. So helping them separate feelings from identity. All right. And this is crucial for self-esteem, because we all have bad feelings about ourselves. And so you can remind them, and maybe you need to remind yourself, that feelings are signals. They aren't definitions.
Yeah.
It's not who you are. It's how you feel. So you might say something like, being left out feels awful, but it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you deserve to be left out. It just feels really bad right now. And you may have to repeat words like that, phrases like that, more than once, because what happens is they hear the same words in their head over and over, and so do you, right?
Yeah.
I'm not worth it. Nobody wants to be my friend. They left me out because I'm stupid, because I'm ugly, because I'm boring, whatever. And they say that to themselves over and over and over. So if you say one time, this doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, they hear that one time to the 100 times they hear what their thoughts are. So we've got to combat that. And they may need to hear these things more and more and more in the different moments as you see them feeling sad or it's coming back up again.
And you also want to help them to tell the whole story, not just the harsh one. Mm. So kids will often jump to the extreme. No one likes me. But that isn't the truth, right? We want to help them see the whole perspective. And so you're having conversations in that moment like, okay, let's analyze this. Who's been kind to you lately? And making them names to get them to see that what you're saying right now is a lie. You may feel that way right now, but that feeling in itself is a lie as well. Because our feelings aren't always the truth. Has this happened before and gotten better? We
do this with our kids.
Yeah. So have you been through something similar to this before, and has it gotten better? The answer is yes. You made it through it.
Yeah. And we'll often take our kids to a situation that was similar before. Like, okay, when that happened, remember how you felt? Tell me, what did you tell me when that happened? Yeah, you told me that. And then now looking back, how does it feel? Yeah, it's no big deal, right? So trying to kind of help them see, like, this will get better.
Yeah. I like this question here. And that is, what do you think might be going on for them?
The other child.
Yes. And so you're getting them to kind of think about and walk a mile in somebody else's shoe as best as possible. Now, this is an excuse for bad behavior, so we never excuse bad behavior. But it's to prevent black and white thinking that they're just a horrible person, or I'm not loving, I'm not worth it, and trying to help them clearly see the whole picture as best as possible.
Mm-hmm. Right. And sometimes we'll even tell the kids, like, the home that they are coming from, they don't have two parents, both there. They had, one parent left them, and that makes them feel a certain way. And they may be just reacting because it's what they've witnessed or what they're experiencing or whatever, just helping them to have a little understanding. And then this is another thing that we need to help our kids understand. This is normal. It is normal to have disappointment as a part of friendship. It kind of goes hand in hand.
Sure.
The moment you allow yourself to be opened up and vulnerable to another person, you give them power to hurt you.
Yeah.
That's how it works, and it's still worth it.
Whether they do it on purpose or accident.
Yeah.
I mean, most people don't just hurt people on purpose.
Yeah. And this isn't about minimizing it, right? Like, oh, it's no big deal. Everybody gets hurt. Everybody is disappointed. It's not minimizing it, but it is saying this is a normal part of human relationships. This won't be the last time this happens. Like, this is how it works. And maybe part of that can be you sharing your stories of rejection. Like when I was your age, I had a friend who did this. Or just last week, I was trying to reach out to my friend and she ghosted me or whatever. And trying to help them see like this is something that is normal. It's not you. It's not unique to you. Now, maybe this is a big issue in your parenting and in your children's lives. So, we want to offer you a bonus resource because maybe this is something that you're like, I need a little bit more guidance on how to help my kid through this because they're really dealing with this.
We've got a parent guide for you.
Yes, we do. Helping kids handle friendship rejection. That's your parent guide. So if you simply email us at info@familymeeting.org, we will shoot you this parent guide to help you with your children and the friendships that they're maybe dealing with. So it's called Helping Kids Handle Friendship Rejection. Email us today.
So family meeting tonight is to sit down with your friends, or sit down with your kids, and to talk friendship with them, and just evaluate the different friends in their life. Like, what do you think it means to be a good friend? What makes somebody a good friend to you? And then having conversations with them, like, who do you think is a really good friend in your life? And how do they make you feel? And what do you do to be a good friend? So you're beginning this conversation with them to help them to see what a good friend is. And then that can open up the door if you have issues and you're seeing issues with certain friends to have those conversations tonight.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Thanks for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting Podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, or email us at info@familymeeting.org. If you'd like to shoot us a text or call us, you can send a voice message at 904-257-3062.
Today's episode was all about parenting and dealing with children. Well, next week, we are talking marriage. We're talking about the marriage relationship, and we want to invite you to join us next week for our family meeting as we discuss sexual baggage. What you have been through in the past sexually gets packed up and brought into your marriage, whether you know it or not. Have you been ignoring it? Let's talk about it next week.
Thanks for joining us for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.
Nailed it.
Boom.
Coconut. He thinks the episode is over.
Coconut thinks we're done.
Come here. Over here.
He's learned. It's funny how they learn patterns, because like when we have people here for dinner or a group or something and we say amen, he does the same thing because he knows we're done, we're getting over, and he's learned that okay, maybe don't hurt him.
Sorry, I was trying to pick him up. I'm sorry, boy. Here's Coconut. He thinks that the episode's over.
Yeah. So he's ready for a treat is what he actually wants.
He's so excited for a treat.
Yeah. Yeah, good kisses, boy.
He's a good friend.
He is a good friend.
Just a minute.
Don't let him fly out of your hands.
I'm trying to hold him. We gotta go.
All right, we'll see you next time because Coconut needs his treat. Bye-bye.
Bye.